Okay, let's just jump right in. The world is changing and it's changing fast. The old rule book for success, it just doesn't work anymore. So how does a country like Singapore, think of it like a small boat in a massive ocean, get ready for what's coming? Well, they're drafting a whole new blueprint. And in this explainer, we're going to take a look inside that strategy. This quote from Singapore's leadership, man, it really just gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? That calm, predictable world that let the nation do so well for decades, it's gone. This is a pretty blunt admission that what worked for the last 60 years is no guarantee for the next 60. A new world needs a new game plan. And that's the big question, right? When the entire game changes, you can't just keep running the same place. So what is the new strategy to handle this completely new era? How is Singapore planning to pivot? Let's find out. All right, first things first. To really get the plan, we have to understand the problem. I mean, why is a whole new blueprint even necessary? It's because the world itself has basically been rewritten.
Just look at the difference here. We've gone from the world on the left, a time that was relatively calm, where it felt like everyone more or less played by the rules, to this new reality on the right. It's fragmented. Big powers are pushing against each other, global rules are being questioned, and for smaller countries, that space to just operate and do your thing, it has gotten a whole lot smaller.
And this is such a perfect way to think about Singapore's spot in all this. A small boat is going to feel the waves from a storm way before a giant tanker even notices. That sensitivity, it creates a sense of urgency. You can't just sit around and wait for the storm to hit you. You've got to prepare for the waves you know are on their way. And speaking of massive waves, one of the biggest ones hitting that small boat, and let's be honest, every boat, is the AI revolution. This isn't just a small change, it's a force that's going to transform pretty much everything about how we live and work. So Singapore's leaders aren't just looking at AI as some scary threat. They're actually calling it an innovative disruption. The whole idea here is that any big new technology has its upsides and its downsides. So the strategy isn't to try and block it, but to grab onto the innovation part with both hands, while at the same time actively managing all the disruptive stuff. And here you can see the two sides of that AI coin. The promise? It's huge. We're talking about overcoming manpower shortages, making businesses way more competitive, and creating better, higher value jobs. But the peril? That's just as real. Workers will be displaced. There's a ton of anxiety out there on the ground. And let's face it, a lot of people just don't trust AI yet.
And that leads to a really crucial, almost counterintuitive idea. Technology isn't the whole story. AI can't sort out a human disagreement or build a trusting relationship. In fact, as the tech gets smarter, our uniquely human skills, things like creativity, empathy, leadership, they become even more valuable. So, you're facing a messy, fragmented world and this massive force of AI. What's the coordinated response? Well, it's called the Economic Strategy Review, or ESR. This is the new blueprint. And this is important. This is not some top-down plan cooked up in a back room somewhere. The whole point of this Economic Strategy Review is to co-curate the solutions. It's a national team effort, bringing in businesses, unions, and regular citizens to figure out the path forward together. So the blueprint really has three big goals. First, future-proof the entire economy so it can handle these new global shocks. Second, create better, more meaningful jobs, not just for today, but for tomorrow. And third, and this is so key, make sure the rewards from all that growth are spread across all of society, not just stuck at the very top. Okay, so how do you actually do that? How do you future-proof an entire economy? Well, it involves a pretty major strategic shift in how you think about things. This slide, this captures the whole change perfectly. For decades, Singapore was the ideal landing pad. It was the best place for global corporations to come and set up shop. The new model, it's to become a launching pad, a place that grows its own local companies into the global giants of the future. It's a huge shift from just being a good host to becoming a creator. Now, this new model isn't being built from scratch. It's all about taking Singapore's existing strengths, things like advanced manufacturing, finance, and its reputation as a trusted hub where the rule of law is solid, and then turbocharging them with new technology to stay ahead of the curve. Of course, to be a launching pad, you need rockets. And in this case, the rockets are startups. So the plan focuses on 5 key things: making the ground fertile for new ideas, making sure there's access to funding, creating clear ways for startups to succeed and exit, making it easier to hire the best people, and, maybe the most important part, building a culture where it's okay to take risks and learn from failure.
That last one is a big deal. It's a cultural shift from punishing failure to seeing it as a necessary step towards innovation.
And this brings us to what is, without a doubt, the foundation of the entire strategy. Because, the ports, the startups, the tech, none of it means a thing if you don't get the most important part right: the people.
Yeah, let's be absolutely crystal clear on this point. Singapore has one and only one natural resource: its people. Human capital is literally everything. So this entire economic blueprint, it's built around investing in, supporting, and empowering the workforce. The goal here is to make sure every single worker is ready for what's next. That means building an AI-ready, adaptable workforce. It means providing real, tangible support when people have to switch jobs. And it means focusing on creating good jobs. Jobs with meaning, with balance, where workers actually benefit from technology instead of becoming its victims. And this quote just sums up the whole philosophy, doesn't it? Economic growth just for the sake of numbers is empty. If progress doesn't actually lead to better lives and a sense of dignity for the people doing the work, then what's the point? The human outcome is the only one that really matters. But look, let's be real. This kind of transformation is not going to be easy. Change is never comfortable. It's going to require real effort, learning new things, and adapting to a totally new reality. The government and businesses can lay the groundwork, but in the end, this blueprint leaves every single person with a very direct and very personal question. Are you ready?